Hey, what's going on, APUSH world? We have a video for you today on the election of 1912. It's going to be a quick one today. Few things you should be familiar with when it comes to this election. So let's get started. Some key ideas before the election. Well, William Howard Taft was the incumbent president, so he is running for president again. And keep in mind, he was handpicked by Teddy Roosevelt to be his successor. Here's a very famous cartoon from Puck magazine. You see Teddy Roosevelt handing off a baby labeled "My Policies" to William Howard Taft. So he chose him to essentially continue with his policies. However, that does not work. Roosevelt begins to feud with Taft over a couple things. One, Taft went after one of J.P. Morgan's companies to break up, which Teddy Roosevelt disagreed with, and Taft also fired one of Roosevelt's buddies, Gifford Pinchot, who played a very large role in the conservation movement of the early 1900s. So Roosevelt wants to run for a third term, and he's going to seek the Republican nomination. However, the Republicans chose Taft. The Republicans actually told Roosevelt, if you let Taft run in 1912, we will renominate you in 1916, but he wanted none of that. So here's a picture kind of mocking Teddy Roosevelt. You see George Washington in the top left. This says declined a third term. Then Grant was denied a third term. He almost tried to get the nomination 3 times. Teddy Roosevelt says demands a third term. And it says for William Howard Taft deserves a second term. And over underneath Teddy Roosevelt it says what Washington refused and Grant could not get. All right, so Roosevelt forms his own political party, the Progressive Party or the Bull Moose Party, and he runs for president. You might be wondering to yourself, why is there an X-ray here? Well, Roosevelt, while he was giving a speech in Wisconsin, was shot in the chest and actually went through his notes in his chest pocket as well as his glasses case, and then it was lodged in his chest. And he went on and gave the speech about 90 minutes later. He's bleeding, he's coughing, he's like, hey guys, I just got shot, but I'm going to give you a little speech anyway. Pretty impressive. So let's dig a little deeper into the candidates. Well, again, William Howard Taft is the nominee for the Republican Party. Theodore Roosevelt, here he is for the Progressive Party. We have Woodrow Wilson for the Democratic Party. And then Eugene Debs for the Socialist Party. And Eugene Debs is pretty popular at this time. Remember, his name is Eugene V. Debs. That's a person, not a court case. Do not confuse the two. So what are the results of the election? Well, 2 Republican candidates helped split the vote. I cannot stress enough, this is so important to note. You have Roosevelt and Taft running against each other, which are essentially 2 Republicans, and they split the vote and take votes away from each other. Therefore, and here's a cartoon, you see the 2 of them fighting with each other. Taft's got a knife and Teddy's got a gun, and they're just brawling. Therefore, Woodrow Wilson wins the election pretty darn easily. You'll see here that Roosevelt wins the electoral votes of several states. Taft only wins the electoral results of 2, and Wilson gets everything else. So Wilson becomes president even though he only had about 40% of the popular vote. The reason why is because Wilson and Taft split votes. Eugene V. Debs wins nearly 1 million votes, and this shows that socialism is a growing force during this time in 1912, and he'll actually continue to run in the future as well. All right, that's everything you need to know about the election of 1912. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the section below, and have a good day, guys.